You know, I grew up in a tough neighborhood. You know, when I was growing up, we always thought that FBI stood for Forever Bothering Italians. And what I learned in school was, you know, what comes after a sentence is an appeal. But I think FBI should actually change the name to Force a Biden Investigation. Mayor, it's really a pleasure and honor to be with you today, and it's a good thing you're not prosecuting me, so I'm happy for that. You know, I want to quote something that was going back a little bit of history, dated on 5/16/17. Our election was hijacked. There is no question Congress has a duty to hashtag protect our democracy and hashtag follow the facts. Nancy Pelosi. And now we're all called a bunch of conspiracy theorists, which is kind of amazing. And listening to the testimony today, I find it ironic that a company in Canada, Canadian company, is not even being used in Canada, who uses nothing more than paper ballots, hand count. I find it ironic and appalling that our folks got lazy, looking for an easy way of doing things, a more efficient way of doing things, but you know what? Electronics can be corrupted, and maybe we need to go back to that and learn something from Canada, our neighbors to the north. And, you know, by hearing all the ballots away, we might get rid of this one, disqualify that one. I think it would be poetic justice if President Trump won by 20 votes. I took an oath 43 years ago when I joined the Marines. I've been through all kinds of places throughout this world when I was in service, and I've been to some countries that were not so garden spots. And I remember being in Thailand in 1981 when they just got done with a coup. And the European visitors and everybody that was there, they were happy to see that red, white, and blue out in the harbor with us Marines and sailors that we could possibly come to the rescue. Of course, we thought we were just going on a normal operation in Liberty. Thank God we went on Operation in Liberty. We didn't have to get involved. But when we left Thailand, we had to stop and take up on board 18 Vietnamese refugees. This is 1981, and the oldest of the children was 18 years old. None of them were involved in that war at all. But we took them aboard and to take care of them. They were out there floating around in the dead water for weeks. Took them on board, cleaned them up, gave them some uniforms. Of course, a lot of them our camis didn't fit them all, but we took care of them because that's what Americans do. And I'm proud that my 22 years in the service was in that reflection, that we are that beam of light, that hope. Last year, I went to Italy for the very first time with my colleague and my seatmate, which I like to call my teammate, Representative Leo Biasucci. And he's a first-generation American. So we went to his dad's hometown, and Dad was there with us. And we went on his trip. And we got to meet the mayor of the small town where his dad grew up. And he's like the big hero of Leo Biasucci, one of the sons of our town. And the pride and admiration they had for him being an elected official in the United States was awestruck. It was unbelievable. I felt so much pride. Anyway, we were under attack a lot for the last couple of weeks trying to force something. A hearing. Representative Fitcham was trying to get a hearing in the House. Couldn't get it done. I tried to get things done with the Senate. There was some obstacles, this and that, a lot of arguments back and forth. And then we got all kinds of hate email when we decided we're going to do this. And people were calling me. I got death threats. I had all kinds of crazy stuff, which is I'm surprised I made it past 25 years old, so not really, I care. But, and I had to tell some friends, I'm like, if I see corruption and I see evidence, I can't look the other way. Like I said, I took an oath 43 years ago. There's no expiration date on that oath. And I grew up in a world where honor, courage, and commitment was an everyday way of life. That's not a marketing slogan. That's just the way it is. You had quoted one of the pieces of the last sentences of the Constitution, which I actually text that back to them. But, you know, I had to take these notes down, but voting is not just an obligation, but it is a right. It's an enshrined in our Constitution. But let me remind you all, that was paid for with blood, with the blood of patriots. Overseas ballots, like I said, I was overseas. I'm convinced that some of my overseas ballots never even counted. So was I disenfranchised? Did they get counted? Did they get switched? Who knows? I don't know. So to look the other way after hearing this testimony would be a dishonor to those my brothers and sisters in uniform. It would dishonor our forefathers and even my own father, who was a Korean War veteran, and to the citizens of every American that we were sworn to serve in this state. So I'm going to do this nice quote because there's some really brilliant people wrote this. And it's the last part of the Declaration of Independence. And for the support of this declaration, with a firm reliance on the protection and divine providence, we mutually pledge to each other our lives, our fortunes, and our sacred honor. Ladies and gentlemen, this is not over. Surrender is not in my creed. Thank you.
大纪元时报遍布全球，不受财团、政党影响，真实敢言。不管是想了解国际局势、两岸议题，或者想要寓教于乐、丰富人生，您需要的都在大纪元时报。订报专线0800566688。